Like right now, we're finally live. All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. I will call to order this Policy and Finance Committee meeting, November 18th, 2022. Thank you for accommodating the switch to Zoom. I don't believe this meeting will be too long, so I saw no reason for us to have to come together in a room and make TV and staff set up all that equipment. What I think will be a pretty brief meeting. We just have two items on the agenda today. One is technically three, but two are updates on our building and fire codes. One's a contracts and procurement issue that the city manager asked us to take a look at. Thankfully, the governing body passed out the ARPA, so we did not have to have any discussion on that today. That's locked and sealed, and if anything pops up that we need to address, we'll bring it back to that, and we need a meeting in December. But with that, I've called us to order. I would be happy to take a motion to approve our minutes from the last meeting of October 28th.
I make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye also. 3-0. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Fyander for our first item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I am in turn going to pass this over to Richard Faulkner, our Development Services Director, who's jointly presenting the next items on your agenda today with Fire, who I believe is also Fire Marshal here and staff, to present the updated versions of the International Building Code and International Fire Code. So, Richard.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Council members. This is a presentation of the proposed adoption of the 2021 Building Code and the 2021 Fire Code. So which is published by the International Code Council. We have a brief outline of the presentation. Next page, please. Yes. So codes presently adopted. We want to go over that. We'll go over the overview, the process that we went through, looked at neighboring communities where they were with these particular codes, and note changes that we will be recommending that we make to our codes. Next slide, please. These are presently the codes we have for our residential and commercial buildings. As you see, some of them are specifically for residential and some of them are for commercial and residential. The two particular ones that we are proposing be amended and adopted, we're going to go from the 2015 International Building Code and the 2015 International Fire Code to the 2021 of both of those additions. Next slide, please. We had brought the 2015 codes to the council for review. The council had requested that we try and get the most up-to-date versions of those codes. So we went back and we are coming back and presenting the 2021 Building and Fire Code as requested. We do these codes together because a lot of the information and the requirements in the fire code, we have sections in the building code, they overlap, and we want to make sure that there's some continuity with the adoption of both codes. Updating the codes allows us to stay current with current trends in the industry, construction industry. So we want to try and keep the codes up to date. And they also provide us the ability to provide safety and a level of quality of life for the citizens of Topeka. We reviewed the surrounding communities to see where they stood with these two particular codes. As you can see, most of the communities are in the 2018 versions of these codes. Should have put the cities on there. We will be going to the 2021, and as you can see, we will be the only community that I reviewed that will be in the 2021 Fire Code and Building Code, if it is adopted. These codes were reviewed not just by city staff, which I think is great. We had stakeholders in the community sit on the BBFA, which is the Building Board Fire Appeals, and they reviewed the codes along with us, made their recommendations. Staff provided them with additional information that they needed. We dealt with the staff that deals directly with new construction which is myself, the fire marshal, the plan review supervisor, and city attorney. So we go over the codes and make sure that things we're doing are appropriate for our community. Our recommendation is that we adopt both the 2021 International Building Code and the International Fire Code. These are some notable amendments. We wanted to continue the exemption of the fire sprinkler requirement in mixed units, dwelling unit structures. This particular one was very helpful in redeveloping some of the structures in our downtown. They are commercial buildings, and if you can allow some residential structures to be in these commercial buildings without sprinkler system, it brings the cost down for the development of those structures. And it's something that we do not require sprinkler systems in single family homes. So it wasn't much of a stretch to not require them for the dwelling units in these mixed uses. Also, we're going to continue the exemption for single family structures or single structures that are townhomes per se, not require them, as long as there's no more than 4 units, not require them to have sprinkler systems in them as well. And this is also an amendment that we've had in our code for a while. The fire department is looking at and wanting to adopt mobile food preparation, the mobile vendors. We know that that's a big thing nowadays, and they're more prevalent. And the fire department would like to have something that would allow them to regulate that and make sure that all these mobile food vendors have the same requirements and same regulations, and make them once again safe for our community, while also providing a quality of life for our citizens to participate in and using these mobile food vendors. They also are wanting to require additional things for our solar panels, which we know that's a thing that's really growing in our community and needs to be addressed. So that's also a good thing that we want to add something to the code that's going to address those issues of those solar panels being installed in our community. And those are the proposed amendments, and the fire marshal and I will stand for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Richard. I mean, I'll just start with saying that obviously the code, monitoring codes and updating them is a never-ending process, but this particular push to get all these different updates has now been a multi-year effort by staff working with stakeholders. And so I just want to say thank you to all the work that we continue to do on this, but especially the last couple of years to listen to the governing body's request and get us there. I know there's been moments of frustration, but you guys powered through and put up with us, and you've done a good job. And so I just thank you and know that it's very much appreciated that we've gotten to this point with a lot of these codes.
Thank you for your kind words. Appreciate that.
Council members, anything you want to add or questions you have? Councilmember Nager?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much for this presentation. And like the chair already mentioned, we really appreciate you guys pushing forward and making sure that we're staying up to date with these codes, because we want to keep our citizens safe and healthy. I do have a question. Is there any feeling that we would have any loss from other communities in the area being on the 2018 codes and us moving forward to the 2021 codes, that we would have any loss in development because of having different, I don't know if it would be more restrictive than the 2018 codes, but any feel on that?
No, I wouldn't say so, because when we went through and did a comparison, I sent another document that showed the amendments, there's not much change between the 2015 and the 2021. If anything, there's some things that, some amendments that we had in the 2015 that are now a part of the 2021 code. And I didn't see anything that I felt was a major concern for us to move from the 2015 to 2021. There were no major differences. So I think they're comparable.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank you. That's all, Chair.
Thank you. Anything else? So do we need to, I don't know who's on here who can answer this. I guess we can do it however I want, maybe. I don't know if we need to approve these separately or if we can approve them together. My motion needs to be for each and take a vote on each, or if we just need to I can approve them at the same time and move them forward. Probably can do that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mary.
the legal department is preparing ordinances that will incorporate all of these changes.
Okay,
The goal was to bring the ordinance back to this committee, and then you would review it, bless it, and then it would go on to the governing body.
right. Do I need to take a vote, or I mean, if I need
No.
to take a vote, that's fine. I just didn't know if I need to take a vote on each one separately, or can just do it together.
No, there's no need to take a vote at all because you
Okay.
really don't have an ordinance to review.
Okay, gotcha. So only if we didn't like what we saw, we would speak now or forever hold our peace and let you move it forward. right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
If there's a concept you don't like, then you need to articulate that so that it doesn't end up in the ordinance. But
Okay,
we'll just proceed and draft the ordinances. In fact, they're almost completed. And then it will be presented to the committee at your next meeting, which is going to be in maybe December.
yeah, if we need to pull one of these together to do that, I'll talk to the city manager and just see if assuming we are gonna now hold a December 20th meeting, sadly, probably. Well, I guess we'll see how many interviews we have to do next month, or before the 13th, but we can hold a meeting like this similar, if it's a quick Zoom meeting to pass them out. So we'll make sure we get that done so that the schedules match up so it can get on an agenda before the end of the year.
Okay, good.
I do have a question, Chair.
Yes, council member.
With the ordinances almost wrapped up, and if we end up having a December meeting, how soon can we expect these ordinances for review? I mean, can we expect it like 3 or 4 days before any anticipated meeting, or is it going to be very tight? With, just to give a little bit of leeway on when we can expect the ordinances.
Councilwoman Valdivia Alcala, I think we're ready. Staff reviewed the ordinances, sent comments back. I'm pretty sure we've got them ready. So we can send them out probably next week if we needed to. So I think we'll be ahead of the game. You'll see them far enough in advance of your next meeting.
If you've got them out, if nothing else, if you think you've got at least, even if it's a last final draft before they're full, could you at least send them out to this committee?
Yes.
That way we can read them, and then when we have our next meeting, we'll be ready to say yay or nay or get them out for you.
Will do.
Thank you, Chair.
All right. Well, unless there's any objections to what we've seen here, any other comments, we'll say good job and get us those copies, and we'll make sure we can get something out before the end of the year.
Will do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And
The
committee.
second item is the TMC 330 contracts and procurement. I have no idea who's taking the lead on this one, but whoever it is, here's your chance.
Rochelle, you want to take this?
Yes, sir, I can. Finance is requesting an update to this particular part of municipal code. In an effort, we're raising our lowest level of procurement guidelines to help account for costs and inflation in the number of items that have now changed a level in our procurement process. What we're asking is to raise that limit so we can reduce the administrative burden on staff when they're trying to procure items and services, that we want to make sure we're getting the right services and the products in the hands of our staff in the field without a lot of unnecessary paperwork. For instance, it used to be maybe some concrete would maybe be $2,000. It's now $7,000, and there's just more paperwork associated with that. And we want to make sure that we're keeping up with the cost of things as we go along, so that staff don't have delays in getting what they need to do their jobs.
Chair, and if I could add, one other side benefit here is Councilwoman Valdivia Alcala. Certainly, we've had conversations in a different group about trying to increase our vendor diversity, and so we believe that the reduction of this administrative burden will help increase that diversity. That's one of the pushbacks that we've had, is that our contracts procurement policies are burdensome enough to where it's hard for somebody to do business with us. And we think that by raising this level, Chair, that this will help with our vendor diversity.
We will remove some barriers to entry for smaller and diverse businesses.
It also lowers the amount, right? From, I forgot what it was, 20-something thousand to 10,000 to put things out for, is that correct? There's a dollar change in here and now I'm blanking on what it was.
I believe we're going up so that we're
Okay.
able to get quotes for things faster than having to do a full bid process and require people to submit formal applications for, things that used to be more easily procurable when they were at lower dollar amounts.
Gotcha. Any questions on, no, yeah, are there any questions from council members?
I have no questions, Chair.
Okay, no, I mean, there's a lot of changes when you look at it, but it's actually pretty straightforward for I read through it both last night and again this morning, and it does barriers, which should help more people get into it, but yay, things cost more now. Welcome to our world. So any questions, Councilmember Nager?
Nope, I just appreciate you guys removing these barriers that aren't needed so we can be more efficient and more diverse.
This does need a vote, correct, City Manager?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay, then I would move to approve.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right. 3-0 vote, it passes. With that, are there any other items my fellow council members like to mention or bring up?
I would say, Chair, just thanks to the staff for their work. Just good job.
And like I said, be on notice. We may have a very brief, another one of these early December to look at those building codes so we can get those out before the end of the year to the full council. So with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.